Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 26 of Disney WTF, where we talk about what's the fuss about Disney. We're a Disney couple. One of us is a Disney fanatic, and one of us is just still trying to figure all this stuff out, but somehow we have made a way to make this relationship work.
Till death do us part.
Yes, because we're engaged now.
This is only the second episode that we recorded where we've been engaged.
I know, it's pretty cool.
Although we sound like an old couple since episode 1.
Which we don't even know how to call each other now. We were trying to figure out what to say, because fiance, we just felt it sounded weird.
Fiance sounds so formal to me, so that's why I was like, well, what should I call you?
What was the funny one?
Oh, they're all really, really weird. So husband in the future.
Yeah.
Husband of the future.
Wife to be.
Wife to be. Yeah.
Anyway.
If you guys have any suggestions, please let us know because we are super awkward when we introduce each other now. Luckily, we don't meet new people every day.
Yeah.
And we're not together all the time.
That's true.
But yeah.
So, how are you doing today?
I feel awesome.
It's daylight savings.
It's daylight savings. We're actually recording pretty early, but it's totally dark outside.
Yeah.
I got an extra hour of sleep this morning. That was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
And we have a cool new setup in the sunroom studio. We're using a different lens for our camera, trying to get more of, our Disney accessories in there.
Yeah, so today we have a popcorn bucket that we got from Tokyo Disneyland that's in the shape of Mickey Mouse himself. And we've got also Mickey and Minnie plushes, and your Mickey, for some reason, is pole dancing your microphone. I don't know why you set it up like that.
I set up my Mickey to pole dance. Yours is just sitting down being real respectful. I set mine up to pole dance.
My Minnie is a lady. That's why she's sitting down.
Yeah, my Mickey's fabulous.
That he feels the need to dance.
Yeah, exactly. So,
anywho.
Headlines.
All right. So my first headline is the Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon happened this past weekend.
Cool.
Which, Ricard, I don't know if you know this, but Disney does have a lot of marathon events that happen throughout the year. Mm-hmm. And really, Disney fanatics who are also super athletic, they try to do them all. And so the Wine and Dine, they have a 5K, a 10K, they have kids events, and then of course they have the half marathon, which is the big event on the last day.
Okay.
And fun fact about the Wine and Dine half marathon, it used to be done at night. And now it's done in the morning.
So you'd have to run at night?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess people can see how that could be weird now that it's in the morning. It makes more sense.
Yeah, I feel like it does make a little bit more sense. And granted, I'm not a runner at all, a distance runner.
Yeah.
So if I were to run at night, I feel like maybe the food that I ate earlier in the day, it would start to catch up with me in a way by probably mile 3 for me at least.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so now it's done during the morning, and congratulations to all the people who finished that. It's a big accomplishment, and how fun is that to run through the parks?
Yeah, it does sound kind of cool. I wonder how, what it looks like in there. I wonder if there's videos. Have you ever seen videos of what it's like inside?
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of videos. I listen to a lot of podcasts that detail their experiences running the event, and a lot of it's not like a regular marathon where you're just running through a city. There's a lot more that Disney does to make it fun. And you don't necessarily have to be the typical marathoner where you're super athletic to do it. You can walk the marathon if you wanted to. You do have to set a certain time in order to do it. But they have character meet and greets throughout. You get to run down Main Street towards Cinderella Castle, run through Animal Kingdom, run up a giant hill on the highway.
Yeah.
Fun things like that. They have bands and they have all kinds of things that you can do, which is why, if I ever do a marathon, it's definitely going to be a Disney one.
Yeah.
And me and my sister were actually talking about doing it. We have not committed as of yet, but maybe one day.
One day.
Yeah. All right, next headline, and this one's kind of more on a more newsy type note. So I read an article that said that there's twice as many alligators that have been caught in the last year than there were previously on Disney World grounds.
I wonder, though, if that's because they're, looking more.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because it kind of detailed what they were doing in the article. So Disney actually hired contracted I guess I'm going to call them hunters for these alligators. And even so, I didn't know this, but the Florida Wildlife Commission actually has limits on how many wild alligators you can catch out of the water and take out of the water. And since the incident that happened last year with the young boy who was unfortunately killed by an alligator, the Wildlife Commission raised their limits so you can catch more alligators out of the wild and take them out.
Because of Disney, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that insane?
Was there like a number? Did they say like what the limits were or anything like that?
They didn't say what the limit was. They said that last year it was 45 alligators that they caught, but this past year it's been 95. So literally twice as many alligators have been caught and taken out of Walt Disney World.
And
isn't that scary?
Yeah, you got to stay away from the water.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. Any murky water at least, because that's where gators like to hide.
And you know, Disney technically, before it was there, it was pretty much the middle of nowhere. So it's like, who knows how many more are there or eggs that are there. And
oh my gosh, the word eggs just freaks me out.
That's funny.
Yeah, but like that's an insane number, I feel like. And the fact that, like you were saying, that the Florida Wildlife Commission changed their rules because of what was going on at Disney. Yeah. I mean, can you just imagine 95 alligators? That's like one every few days, basically.
Jeez.
But anyway, so the waters are a little bit safer. I know Disney has put in guardrails now and netting to prevent people from going into the water. And there's a lot of people I feel like are on two sides of the fence. They're kind of like, oh yeah, of course, it's a swamp. There are going to be alligators. Yeah. But then the other side is like, well, but if you decide to build on these areas, you have to take responsibility for the area that you're having people in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not going in the water anytime soon, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's those little boat things I wanted to do. I don't think I want to do that anymore. What if that thing capsizes? I'll freak out.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is they're actually called mouse boats that you can go on to Bay Lake amongst the Magic Kingdom resorts. And yeah, can you imagine just
I'm not doing that.
Speeding down one of those things? And that looked super fun. How unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm going to be a spectator. Now on, in that sense.
You're gonna be more like a lifeguard. Watch out!
Yeah, lifeguard. That's funny.
Get out of the water! Yeah. Deenie, deenie.
A whistle. Cool.
And it's fun fact about Richie. He actually does own like a handful of whistles, like for safety.
You just never know when you're gonna need to ask for help with a whistle.
Exactly.
So I like to make sure I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's switch gears, as the Today Show likes to say. So the holidays have arrived at Walt Disney World, and everything's not fully rolled out yet, but so much has been put out there and set up. So
that's a headline.
Yes.
You're still on headlines. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm still on headlines.
Gotcha.
And this is a pretty big one because Christmas is the best time of the year.
Yes.
And I think it's really funny. I'm going to tell you about the timeline that this happened. So the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, the last one was actually the day after Halloween on November 1st. By then, there were already Christmas trees up in Hollywood Studios.
Oh, wow.
So Disney's not messing around. They are like, hey, holidays are here, let's go.
Yeah.
And there's some Christmas decorations up. So as I said, in Hollywood Studios, but also Magic Kingdom. I mean, it's going to be way, way magical this year. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling like it's going to be extra magical this year. But as you said a little bit earlier, we are going to go into that a little bit later in a future episode. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Cool.
Because I couldn't contain my excitement.
Yes.
Yes. And we need to get Disney inspo. Christmas inspo, I think.
So are you ready to get into the show?
Yes. Okay. Sorry. All right. So today's topic is going to be about Adventureland.
Yes.
So, Ricard, tell me, what do you know about Adventureland?
I thought it was something else.
Yes.
So I don't really know. I don't know which one it is now.
And tell me, what did you think it was?
I thought Adventureland was where it looked like America with the Wild Wild West.
Yes. And so Richie actually thought that Adventureland was Frontierland. And I could see that because, like, maybe you have fun adventures in the Wild Wild West. Who wouldn't?
Picture, like, Indiana Jones adventure, and then, like, that's why the name came to me. It's like, oh, America is the big adventure. You know? So, I don't know.
Yeah, Indiana Jones, though, I mean, he really doesn't do much in the Wild Wild West.
I mean, it just, that was just how my mind worked. Okay, so don't worry about what's going on in my mind.
Okay, I don't want to. If we're being totally honest, I don't want to. Okay, so Adventureland, where it's situated in Magic Kingdom is you're on Main Street, and then you make a sharp left, and then you're going to go over this wooden bridge, and there's going to be a big sign overhead that says Adventureland. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, what was, the turn of the century manicured landscaping of Main Street, USA starts turning into these lush tropical gardens. And it's an amalgamation of like a jungle and a desert and so much tropical wildlife.
Okay.
So
where is it?
What do you mean, where is it?
Where is it in in the park?
So, okay, like I just said, if you're walking down Main Street and you kind of get to the Circle Hub, the hub is what they call it.
You said that just now?
I didn't say hub.
Oh, okay.
But
all right, go.
Then you're going to make a sharp left, and you're going to walk right into Adventureland.
Is that where Winnie the Pooh is?
No, Winnie the Pooh is in Fantasyland.
I don't know where it is, but okay.
I really feel like we should have a map, like just for.
Okay, but no, let's go on.
Okay, so so you're instantly transported into this foreign land, and I want to tell you that a lot of what Adventureland is, and I know you'd appreciate this, Walt was involved in the concept.
Okay. Before you go on with that, what rides are there? Just to help me really try to figure out where we are.
That's a good idea. Okay. So Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Swiss Family Treehouse.
Okay. So now, okay.
Okay. Jungle Cruise.
Perfect. All right. Now I'm situated.
Magic Carpets of Aladdin.
Okay.
Okay. And Enchanted Tiki Room. Okay.
All right. Cool. Now I know where I am.
Okay. Good. All right. So. Remember when I was talking to you about Jungle Cruise, how a lot of the concept was based on nature films that Walt Disney produced?
Yes,
in
I remember
the 50s?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now it was turned into a whole land. So Adventureland is in Disneyland as well. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it does come from that inspiration of exploring foreign lands like in Asia, South America, and Africa. Mm-hmm. So all these far, far away places that Walt Disney actually wanted to bring to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're trying to replicate.
Okay.
In it. And I have a quote that I really, really, really wanted to read you that Walt Disney said himself. Here is adventure. Here is romance. Here is mystery. Tropical rivers flowing silently into the unknown, the unbelievable splendor of exotic flowers, the eerie sounds of the jungle, with eyes that are always watching. ... This is Adventureland.
Oh my God. Well, that was our first, I think, official quote that we've brought onto the show on episode 26. Yeah. So cool. It's a milestone.
Yeah. And so he really Walt wanted you to feel far away from civilization by it. I mean, obviously, like everything in Disney is so immersive, but he really wanted you to feel like you were completely somewhere else other than America in this, which is funny how you said, oh, this is the America in the Wild West. Yeah. But it's actually completely as far as possible from that.
Interesting.
That they wanted to convey.
That is interesting.
Yeah. And so it's funny though, because it's not exactly like exploring far, far, far away lands now. Here we are in the 21st century. But it was really mimicking the exploration that was happening like in the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s. And there's Tiki inspiration, which was super popular back in the 1950s. So it's almost like a capsule in time of that era, not so much of what it would be like nowadays. Yeah. Which can be seen in the Jungle Cruise because it's not, like I said, something that's 21st century based. It takes you back to, that time where these lands were widely unknown to people in America, and it was bringing it right to your doorstep. Yeah. Well, right to your feet, because you don't live in Magic Kingdom.
I wonder if he had the vision of it always staying that way, to say, oh, it's going to be great because they're always going to be able to come back to this time, or if he was just like, well, that's how it is now, so that's just what it's going to be, It's crazy though that maybe he did think that. Maybe he's like, okay, this is cool because we're going to have all this, back in time or around now, or people are going to be able to see this. But then they also had the one where it's like the future.
Yeah, exactly. Which is also kind of a capsule in time that, you know, you can
Goes the
always
other
kind
way.
of come back to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is interesting because like even in a lot of areas of the whole, like all 4 parks in Disney World, a lot of it is kind of based on a certain time that is almost considered timeless.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like is what really gives Disney so much longevity, is because the way they theme it is more timeless.
Yeah. So
yeah, I could definitely see what you're saying there. I like that comparison too. It's very nice.
You're welcome.
So, and here's the interesting thing about Adventureland that I was kind of thinking about. It's not like the go-to first area or land that you would want to go to necessarily. Like, yeah, it has some really big attractions like Pirates, like Jungle Cruise, but people aren't really rushing to those necessarily as the park opens. You know, they usually go to Fantasyland or Tomorrowland to ride Space Mountain, for instance. And I just feel like Adventureland kind of gets lost in the conversation of all the Disney magic, you know?
Yeah.
Despite it having these big rides.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion, of course. I'm sure that a lot of people find Adventureland to be their favorite land.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like even so, it's set right directly off of Main Street, even though all the lands technically are based on the hub design. I mean, it's right there, and I don't feel like people are necessarily rushing right in.
Yeah. Which is interesting because, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean, it's a huge, you know,
Attraction.
brand.
Oh, yeah.
Like for movies and Blockbuster and that kind of thing. So, and that came out of that land, basically, right?
I know. Isn't that the craziest thing? And I remember when your mind was blown when you realized that the movies were actually based on the ride and not the other way around.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty crazy. I don't think a lot of people would know that. Like, you know, obviously because I was a regular person, you know, when I was like, wait, what? So, you know, you can describe like how that happened or something?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking now, like you just brought this to my thoughts, that a lot of the younger people who are seeing Disney for the first time, I mean, Jack Sparrow has always been on Pirates of the Caribbean for them.
Yeah,
and even
that's
you,
true.
like since you started going to Disney regularly, since we've started
I was
dating.
like, Jack.
Yeah, it's like, of course there's Jack Sparrow. It's
Yeah.
Pirates, duh.
Yeah.
You know? But the original attraction was actually, it was, I don't want to say pretty different, but a lot of the elements that are there in the current version at the Magic Kingdom were not there in the classic attraction. So, I mean, but it was always a big draw, at least for Adventureland.
But for the record, it was Pirates of the Caribbean came after the ride was made, and it was built around it.
Yes. And the elements from a movie were put into the ride post-movie.
Post-movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it actually, if I recall, it took a while before they actually brought in a lot of the movie elements to the ride.
Yeah. I wonder what pre-Jack was like the pirate.
A lot of
Like
it was
maybe he
the
had like
same.
a rounder face or something like that. I don't know.
Pre-Jack.
Maybe it was black. I doubt it.
Jack wasn't actually there. Like, there was
Yeah.
nobody there.
That's fine.
Maybe it was black. I don't know. Anyways. But so a lot of the dialogue and that has Jack Sparrow, like, coming from the animatronics voices, like, a lot of the animatronics that are currently there were there previously, and then Jack was added. But some of the dialogue was changed so that they could be like, oh, Jack Sparrow. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, pirates.
Yes.
Stuff. That's my pirate voice.
Good. I'm glad it's over.
You're so mean. So, but yeah. But anyways, so yeah, Adventureland is really kind of divided into 2 different areas. So Caribbean Plaza, which is where Pirates of the Caribbean is held. And there's also an Arabian Village. So this was something that always kind of, I was always kind of the fence about, but now that I've kind of read up about the history of Adventureland, I can kind of get it. But the fact that they put Flying Carpets of Aladdin, or the Magic Carpets of Aladdin, in Adventureland, I was kind of like, why is that there? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But since they are trying to convey these far-off lands of Africa, Asia, and really kind of put them all into one land, it does make sense. How do you feel about the Magic Carpets of Aladdin? Do you know where?
I don't think I've been on that one.
Yeah, it's like Dumbo, but you're in a carpet.
Yeah, I've never been on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. And they have
Is it
spitting
for
camels
kids?
outside.
Like more, well,
It's like Dumbo.
Okay, so
You can draw your own
more for,
conclusion on
like,
that one.
4 and 5-year-olds.
Hey.
Right?
We could have, yeah, no, yeah, it is.
Okay.
But we could have a blast on it.
Okay.
The carpet goes up and down and back and back. Yeah.
Okay. Back and back.
Well,
That's a
really
solid
far.
direction.
It's like far back.
Okay.
So that's one of the other rides in it. And then there's a Swiss Family Treehouse, which,
That thing's cool.
yeah, I know that you like it. I always like going up it, even though that it's maybe something that if you don't have a lot of time in the park for that day, you don't want to necessarily spend the time to walk up and then walk down. You're walking so much during the day. I mean, so.
Yeah. And it has a water thing out there, right?
It has what,
Something
like
with water, doesn't
yeah, I don't even know what it's exactly called. It's like a wheel that spins around and catches water from the down below.
But I thought there was also like a play area with water around there.
Like a splash pad?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a splash pad in Adventureland. There are camels that spit water.
No, maybe that's what I was thinking about. Okay.
Oh, and tiki heads that spit water as
Okay,
well.
Yeah, those are what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's something called the Enchanted Tiki Room.
I don't think I've been in there either.
It is the show where you have birds up above and they sing to you. I think you have been on it before. Maybe you just don't recall.
Yeah.
But this is something that came from Disneyland as well. So it was actually transplanted completely into Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
And the only difference was the pre-show. But it went by a completely different name when it was first.
And what do they sing though?
They sing all types of songs.
With words?
Yes.
Or is it like humming? 'Cause
So-
they're birds.
Some of the birds hum, some of the birds talk, some of the birds sing.
Okay.
They're all animatronic birds. And it was one of those things where actually the Jungle Cruise, the animatronics that were there were kind of like the first line, and then they're like, wow, let's really bring this more to life. And then they brought it to the Enchanted Tiki Room, which has all these beautifully colorful birds that sing wonderful tropical songs to you.
Yeah.
And it's really wonderful. And a lot of people, what they do is they go get a Dole Whip, which is in Adventureland, and I know you can do this in some parks, but not every park maybe. And you bring it into Enchanted Tiki Room and you enjoy your Dole Whip in the air conditioning with these birds singing to you. How tropical is that?
It sounds relaxing.
It sounds like adventure.
Okay.
So yeah, and actually what's funny is I wish you remembered more about this ride, because maybe you'd kind of get more of a grasp of how this would work. But Enchanted Tiki Room at first was supposed to be a dining concept where you would have the birds over you singing at the same time.
So it's an actual ride, because you said show.
Oh, it's a show.
So you don't actually ride anything.
No.
You just go and sit.
You sit down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no movement really.
Oh, okay.
Unless you like adjust yourself during the show. There's no moving
Unless
at
you
all.
dance during the show.
Which they encourage, excitement.
Okay.
So I feel like dancing is not off limits. But anyways.
Well, pole dancing Mickey would love to be a part of that. It
Oh
sounds
my
like.
gosh. I can't
They're
believe
encouraging excitement.
poor Mickey. He didn't sign up for this, I don't
Yeah.
think. So those are kind of the attractions that are in Adventureland.
Okay.
But something I kind of mentioned too was the cult foods that are in Adventureland. I feel like make it a draw in itself. So obviously the Dole Whip.
Yeah.
And then the cousin of the Dole Whip, the Citrus Swirl.
Gotcha. Never heard of that.
So the Citrus Swirl is like frozen orange juice. And you can have it like in a cup. It's like a frozen dessert.
Yeah. Okay.
Delicious. Which is great for people wwho are allergic to pineapple.
Okay.
Some people are. A great option.
Sucks.
Yeah,
Pineapple.
I
I'm
know.
sorry for the people that are.
And then something that there's also, which you might not expect, but you might, egg rolls.
Oh, okay.
So there's an egg roll cart that kind of sits outside, like in between Jungle Cruise and Swiss Family Treehouse, and they are super delicious, super popular.
Yeah.
Like, people make the special trip, okay, we're not going to do anything in Adventureland, but I'm going to get an egg roll. So yeah, I mean, an egg roll right now actually sounds pretty good. Delicious.
We need to get like an omelet pan so we can make our own egg rolls.
I don't think that's how they're made. I think they're deep fried.
Yeah, but like, remember we rolled eggs? We did the thing where, isn't that an egg roll?
Oh,
Rolled
shoot.
eggs?
So, okay, background to what Richie's talking about, because I was super confused, but now I know exactly what he's talking about. So in Japan, we took a cooking class, and a Japanese omelet is actually 2 layers of eggs that have been rolled on top of each other to almost resemble like an egg roll. An egg roll.
Because you roll the eggs.
Yeah, it's literally an egg roll, and you have to use a special rectangular pan in order to do that.
You can put anything inside. It's super cool.
Yeah, they're super fluffy. I highly recommend get a YouTube video, watch how you do it, and do it at home because they're very, very delicious.
Yes, they are.
Ricard, it's not those kind of egg rolls though.
Oh, so it's like the ones that we.
It's like a Panda Express.
Yeah, gotcha.
But magical.
Because at Disney.
Yes.
I get it.
Exactly.
I get it.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, Adventureland all around is something I think that everybody needs to explore in depth. They've got some great shops in there, very well themed. Obviously, it's tropical and lush, even though we're in Florida, so maybe we don't notice it as much because we're super tropical as it is. But I mean, it's just a wonderful land that I think deserves some appreciation from those who might not, I'm pointing at Richie, those who might not recognize it as much.
Yeah.
Although I am kind of proud of you because you made a very interesting connection. So Indiana Jones, there's a ride in Adventureland in Disneyland of Indiana Jones.
There you go.
So you weren't far off.
I was super close, actually.
Yeah. You were super close. You were sitting on top of it.
Yeah. That's funny.
And just a closing note that I wanted to bring up, kind of on a personal note. Richie and I are now, I guess we're going to have to start planning our wedding. And I was thinking of how Jungle Cruise could definitely be like a party boat and how fun it would be if Jungle Cruise actually had a bar in it and we could make that the reception area. Like everybody will get on a Jungle Cruise boat. And so each table, like table 11 is Sailing Sally, a boat, you know.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Destination wedding on Jungle Cruise.
Oh
Shutting down Jungle Cruise on Saturday, you know, in 2019 sometime.
That sounds insane.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
That would be so much
People
fun.
would be like, we're on a boat?
Oh my gosh. And then we could get a canoe and then like canoe to the different boats to like say, hey guys, thanks for coming to our wedding. This is super fun.
So you want a canoe inside the wedding?
Well, I plan on wearing pants.
Like a paper canoe.
No. Oh my gosh. Or we could be at the dock, like at a table on the dock.
Or we could Fred Flintstone it.
No. He's patting up his feet up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't think that's how it's going to work.
Funny.
But okay, so here's my idea. So we're going to be at the dock. And our bride and groom table is going to be at the dock, and then they're just going to circle around every 10 minutes and say hi to us, every boat.
Oh my God.
That's such a good idea.
That's going to be so weird.
He already agreed to marry me, so he can't back out now.
Oh my God, I don't know what we're doing. It's crazy.
So that's why I think we should consider Adventureland for our wedding.
Okay.
That's actually what this whole episode was about.
So what you're asking is... It's funny.
You can't say no since we're recording live.
That's funny. Well, anyway.
That's all I got.
Yes. Well, I hope everyone just learned a little bit more about what it's like to be and experience Adventureland. I know I learned a bunch. It's cool that, hearing what Walt is inspo and what he really envisioned for it to be. So
For sure.
I'm definitely going to see it a little bit differently now when I go there.
We have to explore it in depth now when we go there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So if you're listening right now on iTunes, we'd really appreciate you to subscribe, leave us a comment, and definitely, please, we'd appreciate you to leave us a rating. If you're on SoundCloud, definitely let us know what you're thinking on there. Leave us a like. You can follow us on SoundCloud, actually. And we're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you just search Disney WTF. On Instagram, it's DisneyWTF.radio. On Twitter, it's Disney WTF_radio. And on Facebook, you just search Disney WTF. We should be popping up. And also check us out on Medium. If you go to medium.com/Disney WTF, you'll find some really cool articles on there about Disney as well.
And we're on YouTube.
Of course. Please subscribe. Let us know what you think there as well.
Yeah.
Look at our new setup. Go on if you're not watching on YouTube, go on YouTube whenever you have stopped driving or whatever it is that you do when you're listening. Go on YouTube and check out our new setup. It's really cool.
You can see our popcorn bucket, which I wish so badly was filled with some popcorn right now. But it cannot be because we're not at a park.
Yes.
I'm just going to pop some popcorn and throw it in there. Oh, doing that right after this episode. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. We really, really appreciate you guys hanging out with us for a little bit. And we hope you have a very, very magical day.